This will be conducted by Toastmaster Master Sitaraman, and the various I will string the various segments. The theme of the day. The theme of today is insights from Ganesha. Today we will explore insights so that we get whatever possible that we can learn from Ganesha. I will also be interacting with most of you all while sharing your thought process. Keep them very crisp in 2 or 3 sentences in the interest of time and also other speakers. And let me also begin with the head of this Eloquent Elite Toastmasters Club, T.M. Girish Mittal. Ganesha's big head signifies to us to think very big. Imagine you are seeing of your daughter going abroad for higher studies. So what will be your quick parting shot on thinking big about your daughter? Over to you, Toastmaster.
So I have already experienced this. My daughter studies in Kolkata, and it was very very emotional moment to leave her when we went to drop her in Kolkata. And my father has always taught us to think big, so the same legacy pass on. And by grace of Ganesha, she is thinking big, and she is doing very well in her studies in college.
Thank you for that thought-provoking response. We move on to the first section, that is the prepared speeches. So Toastmaster Girija Deshpandeji is also the grammarian today. Please, can you give the word of the day and also explain your role?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, good morning. As grammarian, the purpose of my role is to introduce the word of the day. And today's word, as you can see, is equilibrium. So UI is pronounced as WI, equilibrium. And then it means the balance of 2 opposing forces. Why? Because Ganesha represents as per the theme of the day, it is Ganesha. Ganesha represents strength as well as gentleness. So there is a balance. So here I introduce the word of the day and I explain the meaning to you. I request all of you to use it as many times as possible during the day. All the role players and speakers, please use it. Then I will be monitoring the language and the grammar usage. Also make note of the areas of improvement and note down beautiful and powerful expressions. And when I'm called upon at the end by the general evaluator, today I will be the general evaluator, I'll be presenting the report also. The benefit to members will be that the grammarians play an important role in helping all the club members to improve their grammar and vocabulary. Without putting any conscious efforts, the language appreciation and expression of the members improve, because when we listen to the speech, there is a spontaneous attention to the details. But then when the grammarian takes out the specific usages and explains them to you again out of context, then they begin to register. So they become part of our vocabulary. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Girijaji. Ganesha's small eyes, tells us to be very much focused. If we are always focused on our goalpost or goals, where is the joy? My 14-year-old niece asks that question. What is your response to that?
Yes. Goals are the dreams that keep us alive. Dreams are not those we see when we are awake, when we are asleep, but dreams are those that keep us awake. That is what Dr. Abdul Kalam said. If they keep us awake, that is because we are so passionate about those goals and about those dreams. When we are passionate about something, we don't feel that it is work. So even entire day, every minute of the day, even if you're doing it, you don't get tired, you are enjoying it. So this should be my answer to a child. Thank you.
Thank you. Toastmaster Dheeraj Deshpande. Today, he is doing the role of our counter. Can you please explain your role, please? Toastmaster Dheeraj Deshpande.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Sukanya Iyer ji. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests here, good morning. The purpose of the our counter is to make note of any overused words or filler sounds used as crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting. When a speaker uses words repeatedly or where not necessary, I will note them down. Usually, these words are okay, and, well, but, so, you know, right, absolutely, basically, and so on. Verbal distractions could be filler sounds like and so on. Long pauses will also be noted down. I will also recognize speakers who did not use any fillers during their speech. When called upon by the general evaluator, I will present my report. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Thank you, Toastmaster Dheeraj Deshpande. We have to maintain the perfect equilibrium between having fun and also maintaining the timelines. So I request every one of you to give very short and sweet responses. Toastmaster Dheeraj Deshpande, Ganesha's large ears do convey the very importance of the listening part. What do you think prevents us from listening very well? Over to you, Dheeraj Deshpande.
Please unmute.
Yeah, could you repeat the question again? I tried unmuting, it wasn't happening, maybe internet issues. So
we have to maintain the perfect equilibrium, as I said.
Right.
And Ganesha's large ears conveys the importance of listening, right? So what do you think which prevents us from listening or giving a patient hearing to that?
Why do we not listen well to people?
Why do we not
That is
listen
the
well?
question she's asking.
why do we not listen well to?
Anybody?
People who are
What
explaining
prevents us
what
from
people
listening well?
want
Is that the
to convey.
question? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. See, the thing is, as we grow older, we feel that we are growing wiser. But I feel there's knowledge beyond the intellect as well. And right now, we are just experiencing everything through our intellect. And sometimes we have to understand that in life, there is something beyond intellect and just accept that. So maybe that could be one of the things, what all human beings have to realize. Thank you.
Thank you, Dheeraj Deshpande, Toastmaster Dheeraj Deshpande. I request now Toastmaster Dinesh Kumar Par, our gracious timer, to share those the timing guidelines.
Thank you. Equilibrium, Toastmasters of the day, Dr. Sukanya Iyer. I hope I am audible to all of you. Thank you. Having said by Robert Frost, time and tide wait for no man, but time always stands still for a woman of 30. Good morning, Toastmasters of the day, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. It is my pleasure to be timer of today's meeting. Time is an important element of human life, and it is so important that we willingly handcuff our wrist with devices that tell time. Measure our success in vital events at work and play on the basis of time, and have an entire person in Toastmasters committed to just watching time. Today, I am that person. As the timer today, my role is to alert the speakers of the time intervals while they are on stage using colored flashcard. It will be converted in my video window. You can see it will be changing in the colors various. I will say green, yellow, and red as per timing mentioned in agenda. I will explain more. For the prepared speech session, the time allotted 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I will flash the green. At 6 minutes, I will say flash the yellow, and at 7 minutes, you will see my window turning as a red. This is your maximum period for table topic session. The time allotted is 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, you will see green, 1 minute 30 seconds yellow, and 2 minutes at red. This timing segment also will be applied as per the club norms. It's different to me. For the R counter and timers report also will follow the same segment 1 to 2 minutes. Evaluation for the speakers 2 to 3 minutes. You will see that green at 2 minutes 30 seconds yellow, and 3 minutes red. Other than general evaluator, which I can see on agenda, it is the 10-minute timing. General evaluator will see at 8 minutes green, yellow at 9 minutes, and red at 10 minutes. And after that, every segment has been followed by 30 seconds of the grace period. Both sides means minimum and maximum time, except the table topic and the R counter and timer report. They are the 1 to 2 minute segment. There is no grace for lower side of the 30 seconds. And you can see my timer. Speaker will note when I will start, it will running. The dots start the running. You can see I started your timing. So it is not a blind timer. You will see when you speak, and my timer will start as speaker start speaking or uttering first word or any non-verbal gesture. Wish you all the best. I will submit my report when I will be asked by the Toastmasters of the day or by the general evaluator. Thank you. Over to you, Madam Toastmasters of the day, Dr. Sukanya Iyer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dinesh. I'd like to ask, as we all know, Ganesha's mouth is very small. This conveys a subtle message: eat less and also talk less. Do you agree to that?
Ma'am, repeat please your.
Toastmaster Dinesh, as we all know, Ganesha's mouth is so small. It conveys a subtle message: eat less and also talk less. Do you agree to that subtle message or to the subtle advice?
Very honestly, I cannot brief about that, but I can say I agree with your statement.
Okay, you agree to that statement. Okay, thank you. I request Toastmaster Girish Mittal, our dynamic leader, who's presenting the level 2, project 3 of dynamic leadership path. His speech is evaluated by distinguished Toastmaster Lancy D'Souza. I invite to present the project objectives for the audience.
Much appreciated, Toastmasters today. Girish is attempting, okay, this is an interesting one, introduction to Toastmasters mentoring, something close to my heart. There are 2 purpose statements. The purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. The second purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of a previous experience as a protege. 5 to 7 minutes, and Toastmaster today, please do the honors of reading out his title.
Thank you, DTM Lancy. The one with the lance. We'll talk about the axe with Ganesha. This axe indicates us the very importance of cutting of unhealthy attachments. And what is that one attachment that you think we must be free from?
I've always strongly believed ego. Because of the ego, our attitude borders on 3 P's. One is preferences, prejudices, and pretensions. And ego is absolutely linked to attitude. So the day you get rid of your ego, you're a much better person to live with. Over to you.
Thank you. That was a great response. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Lancy D'Souza. We now start the prepared speech section. Toastmaster Girish Mittal, the quintessential mentor. the Quintessential Mentor, Toastmaster, Girish Mittal. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Before I start, Girja, can I request you to spotlight the speaker and the timer as they speak?
Better you pin the video, Toastmaster Girish.
Okay.
You pin my video.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Okay, sounds perfect. Start now. While researching for this speech, I traversed the entire 49 years of my life to search for mentors. I may have never called them mentors, but they indeed acted as mentor to help me travel this journey called life. I will divide my journey in four parts: education, work, Rotary, and little bit of activism, which I do. I studied in a middle class school. Those days, though, there were no fancy schools like IB schools. Even CBSE schools were considered to be fancy, but there was none in our vicinity. Since I was considered a bright student, I had blessings of most of my teachers. I never took tuitions, but whatever was taught in the school was good enough to ace exams. I distinctly remembered one of our teachers, Mrs. Wikes. She was the best teacher in the school, and she did a lot of grammar in me. Whatever little command over English language I have, it is solely due to her. Post 10th standard, I studied in a missionary school for 2 years, and Father John was a great mathematics teacher. And my love for mathematics was cultivated due to the 2 years of rigorous maths training given by Father John. While in college, I met Professor H.G. Rajput. I used to sit with him for hours, although he was not a subject teaching professor. He taught me to appreciate various facets of life by discussion on various subjects. Especially, we discussed a lot about politics in the college and the university, and my love for politics probably emanates from those discussions. Post-college, I started working. In a couple of years, I met Mr. Kapil Gupta, and he encouraged me to turn into an entrepreneur. I shifted from Baroda to Mumbai, and with no support system here, was a bit skeptical to venture on my own. But he always used to say, "Main hoon na." And by grace of God, we did good business. Till the time Kapil's company was bought over by IBM. Around that time, I met Professor late Sanjay Agarwal at IIT Kanpur. He was the head of the computer science department, and he introduced me to a new line of business, and that continues till date. Thank you, Professor Agarwal. During the course of the journey, I met Mr. Sanjay Shah, and we developed another line of business. We were very excited about it, but it did not do very well, as we were not ready to grease palms of people. And we had to ultimately close that business in a couple of years to contain the losses. During the course of all these, I met a gentleman called Rotarian Devendra Bhatt. He introduced me to Rotary. And as a new club was being formed in Borivali area, I became its member, and not knowing what it entails. And however, it was Rotarian Arun Bagaria who saw some potential in me, and I was quickly assigned some responsibilities. In 2 years, I became president of the club, and rest, they say, is history. Rotary is an important part of my life. I am active in club as well as take multiple responsibilities at district level also. The Right to Information Act was promulgated around 2005, and around that time I met Mr. Shailesh Gandhi. He showed me a perspective which was hitherto unknown to me. He said it was a path-breaking legislation which would change the country, especially the disadvantaged people. And I delved into the movement with him. And friends, believe me, Right to Information is a very powerful tool. And I have done some path-breaking work using this tool. You must all be wondering, who is a quintessential mentor, as my topic says, in all of these. Each of the person I have mentioned here played a stellar role in my life and helped me define the person I am. But friends, my quintessential mentor is and was none other than my late father, Mr. Kishan Lal Mittal. As I sit and reflect on my life, I find that my father has been my mentor right from the time I can recollect. Apart from normal fatherly things which we all do, teaching how to walk, teaching to cycle, ride a scooter, he was there for everything. He made me independent in everything, whether it was in studies or learning life skills like banking, visiting doctors for normal injuries which kids sustain. He also taught me equilibrium, to be balanced in joy and sorrow. He always taught me to think big. He used to work with railways, but his vision was that I should never work for any government. When I decided to turn an entrepreneur, he was the happiest person. He even gave me business advice. I was always into products, but he wanted me to venture into services also. Not venturing into services is one of the biggest regrets in my life. Without realizing, he played the role of perfect mentor. Thank you, Toastmasters, for making me meet my mentor. Thank you, Papa, for doing everything you did for me. I still look up to you there when I need counsel. And thinking about you gives me a lot of energy and a lot of advice. I hope and pray my daughter also becomes Toastmaster one day. And while writing her speech, she also has this profound realization. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Girish Mittal. I echo the same sentiment, as I also feel my father was a mentor, and for every one of us. So it was, thank you for taking us through all your journey and experiences of your life. The reason that you're called as quintessential mentor, and thank you for those speech, that particular speech. It was very interesting. Toastmaster Kusuma Rao has completed her first path, dynamic leadership. She is now presenting project 2 of level 1 in the path. Effective coaching, I invite evaluator Toastmaster Kusuma Rao and to present the speech objectives.
Good morning, dear Toastmasters, and you, Toastmaster of the Day, Dr. Sukanya. The purpose of this project is for the speaker to practice using vocal variety and body language to enhance a speech. I also have been provided with the evaluation from her earlier speech that she intends to incorporate in today's speech. Timer, please note the time limit for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Wishing the best to my speaker. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster, for the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Krish. Here is a thought. The rope in the hands that you find in Ganesha tells us, rather conveys a message, like a ship anchored to the shore. We must be anchored. What is it one aspect that you think, that we must be connected with so that we do not go away or rather drift away with those waves of varied influences?
For me, I think it is important for us to be tied to our values. That being said, our values should continuously change, because the more you learn every day, the more your values will align properly. So I think, though it is supposed to be anchored, it is okay if the anchor moves, because every day we are learning. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Now the next prepared speech, Toastmaster Kusuma Rao, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I think, can you hear me?
Yes.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm sure all of you have read this story. And what is it that we learn from it? That every human being has the good in him, that is Dr. Jekyll, compassionate, gentle, helpful. And you also have the Mr. Hyde in you. That is the baser instincts, greed, ego, everything else. Dr. Jekyll is the one who helps you out, and Mr. Hyde is the one who sneaks out in the dark, does all kinds of wrong things, but still comes back and doesn't want anyone to see him do all this. But he still continues doing the wrong things. Now let me show you something. What is this? Just a piece of paper, blank paper. Now, I can see the interest in everyone. Yes, it's a 500 rupee note. And now, this, and this. I can see the excitement happening. Why? Why this fascination for this piece of papers? Because it has purchasing power. You can buy what you want. Now, there are so many currencies in the world. Why is it that the dollar currency is the most powerful? Again, everything depends on the economic policies and the strength of that country. That is why this scramble for the dollar. Now, how am I going to connect the two? This is because money is the most fascinating thing that happens. It brings out the best in us, that is Dr. Jekyll. It brings out the worst in us, that is Mr. Hyde. Now, when we have seen these papers, today, of course, we have so many things like net banking, checkbooks, plastic cards, and UPI. They're different avatars with one single goal, and that is making money, creating wealth, creating assets. Like I said, it can bring out the best and the worst in us. Now, there are people who acquire wealth for the confidence it gives them, and also for the kind of freedom that they get for doing what they want, for enjoying things that they want. So when you have a financial backing, you can do all these things. Then, of course, you have another group that is very miserly, like Shylock, who just enjoyed money for the sake of money. These are the ones who will hoard money, who will not pay the taxes. They will go to such lengths to hide the money under the mattresses, inside pipes, above the false ceiling. But they will enjoy every security the government is giving. They will enjoy every subsidy the government is giving, be it education, be it medicine. But tax, no, they're not going to pay it. So this is again bringing out the Hyde in us. Now, let me share one more thing. For one, I would never underestimate the value of money. Go to a middle-class family, a simple surgery. What does it cost them? They count right up to the last penny where they can cut the cost because it's so difficult to make two ends meet. And they go to the hospital, again, they're exploited because they're not very educated. Would the hospital authorities behave like that with a person who's got off from the Mercedes-Benz, walks very confidently? No, they would think a lot. So this is the power of money. And I myself would say that we should earn well so that it gives us the confidence to do well for ourselves, enjoy our life, and also make someone else's life more comfortable. This is something that we should do to bring equilibrium in society. Now let us think about the corporate houses. We know certain corporate houses, they order yachts, they order helicopters. The weddings in the family are not just lavish, it's totally vulgar. And the same people would not give decent wages to the staff. They would go to a lot of length not to pay the bills. Then, of course, you have the other set of corporates who have a lot of responsibility. They will think a lot. They will distribute their wealth to the staff, low concentration of wealth themselves. They are what you call gracious, elegant kind of lifestyle that they live. They're always in the forefront when it comes to any kind of disaster situation that needs help. Again, they are the ones who will sponsor meritorious students, talented people. They are the ones who bring a lot of what we call the supportive wealth, and they distribute it accordingly. This is what I would appreciate a lot. And now let me tell about happiness in making money. Happiness is not just about making money. You get a joy of achievement when you've made money. And you also you become very creative. How do I make it? How do I invest it? Where do I invest it? So these are all the different small things that give you a lot of joy. And again, let us think about the Dr. Jekyll in us. Let us use ethical practices to make money and use a compassionate nature to give money generously to the other part of society. Like I said, let's bring equilibrium to everyone. Like Somerset Maugham said, money is like the sixth sense. All other five senses cannot be used well if you don't have the sixth sense. I think he has said it all. Money makes the world go around. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kusuma Rao. Indeed, it was very insightful. And definitely, we all have Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in our life. And we'll have a separate session on this, that your insights are so great that I need to go through all those insights. Once again, thank you for those pros and cons. Toastmaster Kusuma Rao, it was a very engaging speech. Toastmaster Kusuma Rao, Ganesha has only one task, as you know, as we all know. When his quill was not working, he used that task, to write Mahabharata as Vedvyas ji dictated it. So he did not search for any other source. That I mean any other external resources. Can you please name one strong resource that you have always, relied upon? Over to you.
Thank you. I think we women are always resourceful. When one doesn't work, we always think, now how do we make it work? So I think the resourceful comes very, very naturally to us because we have to look after our family. We have to go out for work. When we wake up in the morning, the child is not well. So I think what we are using is our natural intelligence and natural instinct. And we use it. And I think that is what brings a kind of balance in our family life. When we balance everything, we need to be resourceful. Thank you.
Thank you. Toastmaster Dr. Shravani K. Reddy is doing the first part on leadership development, level 1, project 2. I invite evaluator, Toastmaster Vithi Agarwal to present her speech objectives.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Am I clearly audible?
Yes.
Wonderful. My target speaker today, Toastmaster Shravani, is attempting her project 2 of level 1. The purpose of this project is for her to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and delivering a well-organized speech on any topic. All the very best, Toastmaster Shravani. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Vithi, here is a quick question on Ganesha. His trunk, can lift very heavy logs. You can pick up with yet can pick up a tiny pin. Who in your family does both, big as well as small, tasks with equal dexterity?
I think that's a very interesting but simple question. I'll have to give all credit to not one of my parents, but both my parents. Dad and mom do the job stupendously. So I think that's about it. Thank you for that, Toastmaster Sukanya.
Well put, well said. Thank you, Toastmaster Vithi. Moving on to the next speech. Now, Toastmaster Dr. Shravani Reddy, the hand that rocks on the cradle.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sukanya Iyer. And good morning, all distinguished Toastmasters. The hand that rocks the cradle. We worship Goddess Durga and Shiva Shakti, the primordial female energy that is at the core of life and well-being of the entire universe. On the other hand, we read about horrendous treatment of women, girls, and female fetuses. At the core, we need to understand the dichotomy that we need to consider here when we look at the role of women in the Indian politics. Women make up around 48.4% of our population, but only 10.5% of the women are parliamentarians. The plight of the women is even more worse in the state assemblies, where they're nearly 9% of the leaders. Women representation in the Lok Sabha has been even not been grown by 10% in the last 75 years of independence. At the entry level, from the home to the highest level of governments, women are excluded from the decision making. And according to the recent research by K, reports reveals that an overwhelming majority of Indians accept that women as a great leaders, but the representation of them is low. An interesting fact is, even the number may be low, but not their ability. India has produced incredible strong political figures, right from Sarojini Naidu, Indira Gandhi, Jayalalitha, Mamata Banerjee, and various pictures flash in my mind. They might have their ups and downs, but neither the voter nor the parties has seen them through a narrow gender lens. They are seen as a great politicians who are women, but not as women political leaders. I will share some myths and realities. Myth number one, why these women are underrepresented in the politics. Myth number one, women are not interested in politics. The reality is, data claims that around 3 crores of women are working across different political parties who are working voluntarily. Myth number two, okay, there are a lot many women who are interested, but they work as a proxy or a dummy candidates. The reality is, if a son represents a political party, they call it as a nepotism or a dynastic politics. But if the same woman represents a political party, they call it a dummy or a proxy candidate. Myth number three, they are interested in politics, they are competent, but they are corrupt. Reality, there is a usual process that every candidate has to file an affidavit when they stand for an election, declaring the cases against them. The data that has been filed with the Election Commission for their nomination, it shows that twice the number of men have criminal and corruption charges. And the corruption or criminal charges over the course of the government is actually 10% less of women-governed constituencies. And the data is not coming from the women themselves, but from a neutral body, that is UN. A UN research study of 4,000 plus assemblies, constituencies in India, all over for about 20 years, across 4 election cycles, reveals that all women-led constituencies contributed 1.8% of GDP. Now, imagine the GDP of India if majority were led by women. Isn't it so exciting? Now, the core issue is, okay, women are interested in politics, they are competent, they are less corrupt. But the main question raises is, how can a party can field a women who are not winnable. The ultimate goal of a party is to win the elections, form the government. Do women have that money and muscle power? But again, it's a myth. As the data tells, the fact that in 2014, only 8% of the candidates contested for the election. But interestingly, 11% of the winners were women. They are winning. This indicates that they are winning at a higher percentage than they are being fielded. The facts and the fiction about the women in the politics is as contrasting as a day and night. But the fact is, women representation is low in politics, and India ranks 157th position in the criteria of women in the political leadership. Where is the difference? What I understand and perceive is democracy is aggregation of voices and counts. So, in an equilibrium, until men and women come together and fight for the political power to women, it's never going to happen. And it's not just the woman to rescue herself and family, but also the country in an equilibrium way. Finally, I would like to conclude with a quote that the hand that can rock the cradle can also rock the Indian politics. Please don't pull away the hand. And thank you.
Thank you for the informative speech. I also belong to that political spectrum, so I completely agree and resonate your data and experiences. So hopefully for the better, and we'll have more women representation in the near future. As you said, the hand will also rock the nation with the help of women representation. That was very informative speech, Dr. Shravani. As you know, as we all know, that Ganesha's large stomach tells us that we must be able to, the Ganesha has come to you, I think just now, tells us that behind in the background, your son, I think, Shravani, must be able to stomach both good and bad experiences. So can you share, as a spouse of a doctor who's working in BSF, Border Security Force, one hardship and one positive aspect of defense life? Over to you, Toastmaster Dr. Shravani.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sukanya Iyer. I totally agree that bad and good things we can learn even from the bad things. One recent experience I will share with you. I worked in a hospital as an administrator before I used to work there. So I could see a lot of things were happening during the COVID time, especially regarding the remdesivir. So I was the one who has raised the voice against them. There I faced a bad experience. They said you have to see as an organization, don't like come out with against to the organization. So immediately I changed my mind and I left that. Like I am not a good fit over there. But what I learned today is my rating was given very down. So I learned one thing, that I need to manage the bad things also in a different way. That is called as a leadership style. So that one I have learned from the bad experience. Thank you. That's all.
Salutation to our brave warriors, those who guard our borders. I now invite Toastmaster Dinesh Kumar Pai to share the timer report of prepared speeches and also share duly the timing guidelines for the table topics session. Over to you, Toastmaster Ganesh.
Excuse me, timing guidelines for table topics he has already given. So I think, yeah, he has given the timing guidelines for everything now.
Yeah, I invite the table topics.
No, he has to give the report. He has to give the report. Yes, yes. Yeah. Please go ahead, sir. Yeah, thank you.
I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes.
Okay, so first speech, Toastmaster Girish Mittal, 6 minutes 10 seconds. Second speaker, Toastmaster Kushma Rao, 6 minutes 46 seconds. And last but not the least speaker, Kuncha Ram Sravani. Sorry if I pronouncing wrong.
That's okay.
6 minutes 25 seconds. Time taken by the, so we can say our timing report is still equilibrium. Thank you.
Thank you. All the
Thank you.
speakers qualify. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I invite Table Topics Master of the Day, Toastmaster Vijayalakshmi, our own member from Texas, to conduct the Table Topics session. Over to you, Toastmaster Vijayalakshmi.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Dr. Sukanya Iyer. It was very engaging to listen to all the three Toastmasters here. Very reflective journey indeed. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, good morning, good evening, and I think two of us, we can always say good night too. One of the most exciting sections of the Toastmasters meeting is the table topic session. I'm probably one meeting old and I can definitely concur to this. The main objective is to challenge members to develop their impromptu communication skills, to effectively think on their feet by answering unrehearsed questions. We encourage members who have not taken up any role in the meeting and the guests to participate in the table topic session. Table topic session is specifically designed to develop four essential communication skills. They are A, listening, B, thinking, C, organizing, and D, speaking. The session trains members to quickly organize and express their thoughts in an impromptu setting, trains members on strategies to draw from experience and present table topics effectively during special education sessions. Today, as your table topics master, I will be asking questions related to the theme of the day. Our timer has already demonstrated the timing guidelines very clearly. I also encourage you to use the word of the day, equilibrium. So let's get started. Who wants to be first? Choose any number from 1 to 6.
I think I would like to go.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please, Toastmaster. Yeah, Anushri. Yeah.
I will go for number 3.
Number 3. Okay, this is number 1, I think. Let us scroll down to number 3.
Still number 1.
Yeah. We heard you as 3. I think the PPT heard you as 1. Yeah. Yeah. So the theme of the day is for you, if people are not calling you crazy, you are not thinking big enough.
Just a moment. I'll just take 2 seconds to gather the answer before I speak.
Sure, Toastmaster.
Okay. Can I start?
Yes, please.
Sure. I totally agree with this statement. You have to be crazy enough to, we can say, to do well in whatever you want to do. I think some of the finest examples are Steve Jobs. What I have heard, he was crazy enough. He drove his employees to the walls But yet, like, I think nobody can deny the legacy of Apple what it is today. And Kangna Ranaut, again, I always say she is crazy. She speaks a lot. But look at her today, whatever she spoke a few years back, isn't it relevant today? Today, everything is on camera. Everybody knows what is happening in Bollywood. And then I would say, like, I can consider him one of my you can say idols, because whatever podcast I have heard of his is so relevant. Kunal Shaw, who is also called as a startup king of India, who you can say who Fred as a company is his child. Again, like nobody came up with the concept, but he did. And even the last example I think ever is Ranveer Alabadia. He is the most famous podcaster. He's again in the Forbes 30 under 30. He already has 4 media companies under his name, earning very well. Why? Because because he you can see he's always on the move, and he is one person who suffers from ADHD, mild. So, like, for people who do not know what ADHD is, attention deficit disorder, a medical term that is used. I think that solves my answer. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Yes.
Topic master.
Yeah. Thank you, Anushree. I think it was a very engaging speech and very quickly thought about new feet. Thank you so much. So we invite other members and Toastmasters. Any number from 1 to 6.
I would be keen to take number 7.
7. Okay. Toastmaster Avinash, your theme is, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change.
Okay.
Very nice. Yeah.
Very nice question. It reflects about the human being, how they did manage to survive the big catastrophe that the dinosaurs that couldn't endure, because there was dinosaurs long time back, and the catastrophic, like there was an asteroid that struck in the US, and part of the globes was burnt out, and they had good instinct, dinosaurs' own instinct, and there was only the human being that was able to survive. Maybe they hide in caves, or I don't know what sorts of instruments they sought. So they were the one best species because they were living in communion with the dinosaurs. They know how to survive. They didn't know how to combat them, how to prevent them from being killed. But still, as you know, human beings have been going through too many things. There were the pandemic. Long time back, there was the Spanish pandemic that killed entirely millions of people. And this human was being able to develop vaccines that was able to prevent them from the mass killing, to prevent a mass killing. So that's how human being not the most intelligent species, because our brain, compared to a dolphin, our brain is much smaller, and a dolphin, despite the fact that it has a big brain, is not able to be that intelligent. Maybe he's intelligent in his environment, like the water, the sea, but human beings have conquered everywhere: the space, water, and the land, the air. You can see, you can go traveling by an aeroplane. You can bicycle, you can go fast. We are innovative. We are doing all sorts of things. Thank you for this question. Over to you, Time Dinesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Avnish, for taking us back in time. The dinosaur age to here. Very reflective indeed. So we invite more guest speakers and Toastmasters.
So myself, Deepa.
Yeah, Deepa. Thank you, Toastmaster Deepa. And you can choose a number.
6.
6. Okay. So your question reflection is the same tree may yield some sour fruits and some sweet. You can't cut off the tree for the sour fruits.
Oh, very nice topic. I think so. This reflects in our lives too, because every person comes with their own positives and negatives. I would not say negative, but areas of improvement. But definitely for some soft fruits, you cannot cut the whole tree, but you have to adapt and accept that along with the sweetness, there would be some sourness which will come. But let's look at the bigger picture. And that definitely happens in every walk of life, be it your family members, be it people in office, and uh, where you see that they have their areas of improvement. Like just every personality has two sides. So if you see a very simple example, if you see a very aggressive person, the positive is they are amazing in their work. But then the negative side would be that they might not care about too many emotional things which will come in their way because they are aggressive, so they have to achieve it. So just that's a very simple example, but always one coin has two sides. So you have to look at the bigger picture, accept it, learn from it, and enjoy it, make the most out of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepa. I think it was very nice reflection and how to lead life and how to meet people and accept people in your life. Beautiful. Any more volunteers?
Can I try?
Yeah, please.
Yep. Thank you. So which number is available now?
I think we have done with 6.
So I'll take number 4. Number 4 is still available?
Yeah.
Okay, I can try it. Thank you.
Number 4. Number 4, Girjaji. Yeah. So the topic is attachment to the outcome destroys your creativity. Very profound. Yeah.
So who's taking it? Girjaji or I'm taking it?
No, you're taking it, and she was just helping me with the slide. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So attachment to the outcome destroy your creativity. So attachment to your outcome destroy your negativity. Actually, yeah. If you're attached to something, like you're in love with someone, and this can diminish your creativity because when you're loving someone, you're giving it your time to your partner or to anyone. So maybe it would be innovative, like to be alone, to be single in your own life and to practice innovation. And in this way, without attachment, maybe you would achieve a much refined product, which would help the society to achieve something best, maybe an innovative product. Maybe you have created a new type of bread, that can sustain maybe for 6 hours, you won't be feeling hungry. So if you would be loving someone, maybe you won't be like attentive in your creation. It depends on scientists around the world, because you can see there are scientists who are living alone. They just escape the routine life and they go somewhere else in their camp, in their basement, maybe in the forest or near a waterfall. They just ponder, they brainstorm just to have good ideas. And this attachment will prevent them from mingling with people, and this will create new products. And attachment and we say that innovative or like disequilibrium, they can't work together. You should be equilibrium with nature, with something else. So thank you. Over to you, timer, Dinesh.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Avnish. I think very interesting innovation if it happens. The bread, you'll be challenging a whole lot of fitness industry there. But yeah, but really very interesting. Thank you. Any more volunteers?
Can I take the first number? Can I?
Yeah. Okay.
I guess we have.
Yes.
We have.
I think we are running out of
evaluator
time,
one
so
lens.
we
Then
need
we
to
can do
close.
it.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah, we are running out of time, so we'll
Yeah,
have to
we
close
have
it
to
now.
make it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
thank you
generally,
all.
only
Thank
once
you.
a table topic person speaks only once.
Yeah.
The speaker is not
Yeah.
repeated. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead. Yeah, move
Yeah.
hand over to the next section. Thank you so much, Vijay Lakshmi.
Thank you. Thank you. Handing over to the Toastmaster today.
Toastmaster
Dr. Sukanya Iyer. Yeah.
It was very insightful. Thank you for conducting such a wonderful session. For you, the question, the Mushika, the mount of Ganesha, is said to be a symbol of our desire, that which runs amok. So if we do not control them, how can anyone control anyone, any thoughts overpowering our desires?
So can I have the question repeated?
The Mushika, the mount of Ganesha, is said to be the symbol of our desires. So that runs amok. So if we do not control our desires, how can anyone control any overpowering desire? So how are you going to do that?
So I think personally, the seed for everything is the desire. And as rightfully Buddha put, if you have no desire, there is no sorrow. And you can find a very nice equilibrium to life, happiness and sorrow, and treat it the same way, whichever comes your way. If you put end to your desires, I think there is no aspiration, there is no anticipation, there is no expectation from life. And life is much more peaceful and balanced. And the challenge for all human beings is to control it, because it never ends. It never ends in any stage of life. So that's our challenge too, and hope we learn this from Ganesha. Thank you.
Thank
Toastmaster
you,
of the day,
Toastmaster
Dr.
Lakshmi. Now I request General Evaluator, our VP Education, the dynamic Toastmaster Girija Deshpande, to conduct the evaluation session.
Before that, I would request the timer to give the timing taken by the table topic speakers. If everybody is qualified, just we want to know that everybody is qualified. If anyone,
sure, thank you, General Evaluator. Our table topic speakers all maintain the equilibrium and all are the qualified.
Thank you.
If you want to read out the name?
No, that's okay. Thank you so much. We move on to the next.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. We can put it in the chat the time that people took. That will be helpful. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. We move on to the general evaluation section. I request the first speech evaluator of the day. The first, I would be requesting the speech evaluators to present their speech evaluation. Then the general evaluation of the grammarian, our counter, and the timer will be there. After that, the general evaluator's report will follow. First, I request our distinguished Toastmaster Lancy to give the the speech evaluation of the speech presented by our Toastmaster Girish Vidya. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Lancy.
Much appreciated, Aji. The one thing that came out very clear, and that was pretty strong about you, Girish, is that you're a person who appreciates people. And the very fact that you advocated your viewpoint through recognizing a whole lot of people. There was a host and a slew of personalities. That was your teacher in school. Then you went on to Father John, who was a maths teacher. You had a professor in college that had an effect on you. You had in your entrepreneurship, you had Kapil Sanjay Shah with the new business. Great stuff. Okay, so this consolidated and structured your speech, the reason for why you were having your presentation this morning. Now, I'm going to break it up into the content, the communication, and of course the conclusion. So in the content, I would like to reiterate in here, the recognition is one of your smartest moves in there. Use it as your prime quality to speak about it in all your future speeches. All right, when it comes to the communication part of it in here, right, I believe you're a Rotarian, and so you said that through the process as being a Rotarian, Devendra helped you out. You finally clocked it by being the president of the club. Okay, that's your part of your journey, which is good, and you're notching up your success as you're coming up the ladder. For me, where was the speech value? I think it came in when you said, "Who is the quintessential mentor?" Now, for me, effectiveness of your speech value is bordered on recognizing people, number one, communicating to people on the success that you have in there, and then culminating it into a speech value saying, obviously, a lot of people have been in my life, but do you know who? It's my dad. Now, that's where my recommendation comes in. I'll tell you why. Is because it's your dad, right, Ganesh? It's your script, it's your life. None of us can punch in holes with your dad. Did you really have to read out from your script? Your relationship with your dad is intense. And that's on a very different personal level. And that's where you could have used a whole 9 yards of emotion and talked about it. He's your mentor in life. A person, did you have a weak moment with him? That's where we want to hear. That's what we want to listen to. Did you have a strong moment? Forget the rest. There were too many points. That's my recommendation. Knock it off just to 2 or 3 points in your life and any other speech. But the main crux of it was your dad. And that's where all of us would have been intrigued and said, wow, that's a relationship. Did he have a weak moment? Did your dad help you through those strong moments? Where was it? The credibility lies in there. Number 2, did he have a business advice for you? Trade it out with us, because that's your learning experience, and say, this is what I learned. So in conclusion, the next time I'm here, okay, you've orchestrated, you've got a good speech in here, but the next time, use emotional quality. It helps in there, and it brings in a lot of respect for the audience. And number 2, end it on a strong note. If I was you, I would have said, it's not important who is ahead in life. It's not important who is behind in life. What really matters in life is someone who's beside you. That's a mentor. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my dad. Good luck, good cheer. Over to you.
Beautiful.
Super. Thank you, Toastmaster Lancy. Distinguished Toastmaster, as usual, it was a wonderful response to the speech given by Girish Mittal. Thank you so much. Over to the next evaluator of the day. The next evaluator is Krishnesh Nayak, Toastmaster from Calcutta. I request you to present the speech evaluation of our Toastmaster Kusuma Rao.
Thank you. Friends, the first thing that flashed in my mind when I heard the speech title, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, it was the 2 sides that are in most of us. Toastmaster Kusuma, I have them both in me too as an evaluator. Hello again, dear Toastmasters, and Toastmaster Kusuma in particular. Toastmaster Kusuma, I loved how you brought out the 2 contrasting sides meticulously. You spoke about people, traits, and corporations. I loved how you spoke about the good and bad for each of your anecdotes. Now, to start off, recalling what you did with your last speech, your earlier evaluation suggested that you work on maintaining eye contact with the audience. And in today's speech, I found you looking into the camera for most of the time you were speaking, right? That's what the Dr. Jekyll in me says, right? That you did well. Though the Dr. Hyde in me noticed you looking away, especially when you attempted to recall some of your content. You wanted to look for the right words or phrases in your speech. I thought you were looking away. And I think the more you practice, it'll be easier for you. Now for the specific objectives of this speech, vocal variety or body language. Now I saw brilliant instances of using hand gestures, so I'll be focusing on only body language. I'm glad, Toastmaster Kusuma, I'm glad that today I saw a perfect example of engaging the audience in an online meeting. Now, when you started showing the papers and the currencies, I can only imagine that if I had had my video switched off, I would have still leaned in and started nodding my head in agreement when you spoke about the value of paper based on what's printed on it. Brilliantly done, Toastmaster Kusuma. I also liked how your hands move spontaneously. You have an open palm outward movement as you explain the various anecdotes. It was wonderful. It was evident to me that this is a subject that is close to your heart. I loved it when you said acquired wealth, that inward punching. And then when you said the last penny, the pinch that you used using your hands, brilliantly done. Again, that Toastmaster Kusuma was the Dr. Jekyll who loved your hands. And here comes Mr. Hyde, who was actually noticing your fingers and shoulders. Now, if I were you, Toastmaster Kusuma, I would consider using my fingers to add effect. Say to count out points, or in instances where I have multiple examples. Recall the part where you spoke about the different payment methods. Check, net banking, UPI, and something else. Or when you said rich people have yachts, helicopter, lavish weddings, right? Similarly, a speech that searches for an equilibrium definitely has two sides. And if I were you, Toastmaster Kusuma, I would have used my shoulders and identified clearly the parts where I speak about the good and the part that I speak about the bad. So choose. Right is for good, left is for bad. Lavish weddings, right? You're talking about lavish weddings. Low salaries to servants. Pay taxes, hide them under your mattress. So like that. In conclusion, Toastmaster Kusuma, I would have loved your speech a little more had I seen instances where you could have used your fingers and shoulders. That being said, I applaud you for the way you spontaneously used your hands to show sincerity and engage the audience. Wishing you the best ahead. Back to you, Madam General.
Thank you so much for that precise evaluation.
Thank you so much. Very nice. And like I said, every meeting we learn something or the other. We learn a lot hearing experienced people like you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I request the next evaluator, Vritti Agarwal, to present the evaluation of the speech given by our Dr. Shravani.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Am I clearly audible?
Yes.
Perfect. The hand that rocks the cradle. That was the title of your speech. And you can only imagine what would have started running in my head the minute I read the title. It took me back to my mom, because that is the hand that has rocked my cradle for sure. And the way you started the speech, what with worshipping a goddess and then comparing it to feticide, oh my God. I could relate to it, because I'm like, those are two extremes of the same line, right? It's the same rainbow, one this side, one that side. Beautiful start to this speech, Toastmaster Shravani. I don't know if you're here in the room today and you're hearing me out, but I really felt that the project might have been just a little bit incorrect for you. It should not have been researching the basic methodology of speech writing, more on researching and presenting facts and figures. That's another project. I think you've already mastered that in this particular speech. Facts, figures, myths, all in there in this speech. Beautiful beginning with comparison. You laid it down with your facts and figures. And then in the end, you came back with a message that don't underestimate women. That was a very good one. With the ending, basically in the last 30 seconds of your speech, that's when I realized that this topic is actually very close to your heart. At least that's what your voice conveyed. Coming to that point, I would really recommend that you use a lot more vocal variety during your speech. I know we're just in the second step of our journey with Toastmasters, what with this being your second speech, right? But a little more vocal variety would have kept your audience much more engaged. I really missed a little bit of presentation because there was a lot of numbers being thrown at me. 48%, 9%, 10%, 11%. I'm like, what's happening, right? And for a second, I lost my step there. But I got the gist of it, that is for sure. If we had a presentation with probably just bar charts or just probably columns with what is a myth and what is the reality, that would really help me summarize and take away a lot more by the end of this speech. I know at this stage, this might not be the correct recommendation, but when you have such a powerful topic in your quiver, why not stand up and deliver the speech? Your body language will convey that much more when you're trying to talk about the power of a woman, right? Hand gestures, vocal variety, standing up. Definitely, I'm sure you're going to be putting in all these aspects in your speech to come ahead. I really like. I'm seriously. I know my hour counter must be counting the number of hours and reallys I'm using, but it was just because I was really impressed with the fact that this being your second speech, it was very well researched. I would not have dared to take such a powerful topic. It was very well done. A challenge for you in the coming up speeches would be definitely stand up and give this speech, and probably one on an emotional note where you can explore your vocal variety more. You started with a hand that rocks the cradle, right? Why not talk about your mom and actually make us cry at the end of the speech? That's it from my side. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much for the wonderful evaluation. So we move on to the next section where the three auxiliary evaluators will be presenting. So I will be presenting as a grammarian my report. So here I am. So the word of the day, most of the speakers use the word of the day today. I'm very happy to note that. Starting from our Toastmaster of the day, Dr. Sukanya Iyer, then the speakers, the prepared speakers, all the three of them used the word of the day, which shows the presence of mind. I'm really very happy about it. Then we had the table topic speakers like Avnish, and also the evaluators, Krishnesh, of course, our distinguished Toastmaster Lancy, and our table topics master Vijay Lakshmi. Everybody used the word of the day. And also the timer, he used it twice too. So that was super. The good use of the languages were many. Time stands still for a woman at 30, he said. Time and tide do not wait for anyone. Facets of life emanates from, tied to our values, sneaks out in the dark. Money brings out the best and the worst in us. Make two ends meet, bring out the Shylock. Narrow gender lens. Look at the bigger picture. Every walk of life, two sides of every coin, slew of personalities, consolidated and structured, speech value. None of us can punch in holes there. 9 yards of emotion. Use emotional punch. End it on a strong note. Dr. Hyde while looking away. Brilliant instances. Here comes Mr. Hyde. Got the gist. These were some of the beautiful expressions that were used, which conveyed very powerfully. Area of improvement was underrepresented. There, the correction would be underrepresented. The pronunciation errors were there. It is not cradle, it is cradle. It is not woman, it is women. And constituencies, it has to be pronounced clearly. Otherwise, I've completed my presentation for the general evaluator. I call upon our counter, Toastmaster Dheeraj Deshpande, to present his report.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So here's my report for the day. I'll be going according to the order of events. We started off with our SAA, which is Gaurangji. He used the word "a" 4 times. We have next Toastmaster Girish Mittalji, who also was introduced earlier, and he used "a" 9 times and the word "and" twice. Toastmaster Sukanya ji, she was the host like throughout the day. So she just used it 9 times. So I feel it's an accomplishment. It's hard for me. So like, claps for her. During the prepared speeches, as I'm saying it, even I'm using the word a lot. So please, someone make a note of that. Equilibrium, balance of two opposing forces was used by Dinesh Kumar Palji, and also Dinesh Kumar Palji, while introduction, used no fillers. So that is amazing. During the prepared speech section, when the prepared speech section started, I would just like to point out that all the evaluators, Lancy D'Souza, Krish Nayak, and Vritti Agarwal, used no fillers at all. All right, so that is great. During the speech, Toastmaster Girish Mittalji said 3 and used the word "and" repeatedly. the word however he saw potential in me, there was a long pause over there. So maybe we can work on the pauses as well to, you know, have more impact. Krish Nayak ji used no fillers, but he used the words I think very frequently. Toastmaster Kusuma Rao ji, during her speech, she used the filler a only once and repeated the word and twice during the Ganesh question, during the Ganesh Q&A, not during the speech. Besides that, I'm coming to the again we are getting back to the timer report. Again, Dinesh Kumar Pal ji didn't use any fillers, so that is great. Toastmaster Vijay Lakshmi ji, during her table topic and Ganesh questions, she used 7 hours and repeated the word theme continuously twice. Table topic 1 speaker, Toastmaster Anushri ji, used the filler R 9 times and used the word and twice. Table topic Toastmaster Avnish used the filler R just once, and that's it. That's about it for him. Table topic 3, Toastmaster Deepa Yerwankar, the word the was repeated continuously somewhere in between the speech, and also the filler a was used thrice. Table topic speaker Avnish just was repeated continuously, and the word no, I don't understand this. Maybe I've written something wrong. All right. Besides that, speech evaluators, while evaluating, this is getting back to Mr. Lancy. He just repeated the filler once and once. Again, Krish Nayak ji, while evaluating Kusuma Rao, didn't use any fillers, so kudos. Vritti Agarwal ji, while evaluating Shravani ji, you used the filler once. And Grammarian, while evaluating, used no fillers, but there was a long pause in between somewhere, so that takes away from the effectiveness of the speech sometimes. That's all. Thank you.
So the most used R is Toastmaster Dheeraj Deshpande for the
yeah.
Dheeraj is used 17 times.
I will be presenting it
I
as
counted
a
it.
evaluator. I had written it. Yes. You missed one.
Thank you. So guys, the person evaluating, you guys use the term are the most. So you guys don't need to work so much. It should be me.
Now I request Toastmaster Dinesh Kumar Pal to present his report of these evaluations.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Our first evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Lancy D'Souza, 3 minutes 21 seconds. Second evaluator, Toastmaster Chris Naik, 3 minutes 24 seconds. And evaluator Vritti Agarwal, 3 minutes 15 seconds. And next, our grammarian yourself, 2 minutes 2 seconds. And last but not the least, our counter, 3 minutes 58 seconds. So vivid report of the art. Thank you for that. I just suggest you can borrow the timing little bit from General Evaluator. She has huge time, and so you can use that one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will present my report, and please time me and just put it in the chat as soon as it is over. Yes, thank you so much. So as a general evaluator, the meeting started a little late. We started 5 minutes late because of the technical issues faced by our Sergeant-at-Arms. We had a Toastmaster of the Day announcing the speaker, doing the program very well, excellently carrying out and connecting the dots and collating the events very beautifully. The only thing that was missing was whenever you call a prepared speech, the Toastmaster protocol says you first announce the name and the title, Girish Mittal and Quintessential Mentor. The Quintessential Mentor, Girish Mittal. This is the Toastmaster protocol followed throughout the world, even in the competitions. So for each of the speaker, we have to repeat that. So like Kusuma Rao, Jekyll and Hyde, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Kusuma Rao. That is how we need to say that. Otherwise, it was quite interesting the way you carried it along. Similarly, the table topic session was also extremely interesting. Timer, we do not have to, specially talk about him because he's going to give us special training on how to use this equipment and time everything properly. Our counter report was quite extensive. The speech evaluators absolutely were on dot on time, as well as the effectiveness was superb. I do not want to dwell much on this, and I will hand it over to, I did not use the minimum time also. I would like to hand it over to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Girija Deshpandeji. And the best production is yet to come. So I'm perfecting that act. So having said that, I thank G, and also I hand it over to the President. Thank you, Toastmaster Girija Deshpande, for such a meticulous and a wonderful insight. For you, the question is the prasad at the feet of Lord Ganesha, which tells us or rather conveys the message. One who surrenders himself or herself at the divine will gets the whole world. According to you, what is your take on that?
When we surrender ourselves to the divine will, we get the whole world. What is the whole world? I think the whole world is our own inner world, the peace. It doesn't matter how the extra or the outside world is, if inside we are all suffering. So when we submit ourselves to the divine will, we know that we do our best and then we surrender it to the Almighty. We are peaceful. It is like we give the entire responsibility to Him and we take the responsibility for only our actions. So just do our karma and leave it to Him. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So,
well put and well said. Now I hand over to the President so that the modakas are all distributed to all the sadhakas. The recognition for the effort, and our President will conduct the poll and also duly declare the winners. Over to you, the President. Thank you.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Dr. Sukanya, for conducting the whole session very well, and also the table topic master and all the other role players. Thank you for the great meeting. We, as the Toastmaster, we also have to conduct the polls. May I request our General Evaluator, Girija, to launch the polls. Girija, you are on mute.
Yes. Can everybody see it? I've launched the poll. I've launched the poll. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
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 I cannot see. Just a moment.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's
On
there.
the screen. Yeah.
Please select the best speaker of the day. The first three are given. Best table topic speaker. You have heard the speakers who all spoke. So you can write the best speaker, whichever one speaker you've got to choose.
You may not remember the order in which they spoke. So maybe we should write
the name.
speakers.
Write the name. Yeah, write the name. That will be better if you can put the name there. You can put it on the chat if you want. If here we are not able to put second or whatever. Yeah.
You can see the name in the chat box.
Yes.
Before put the timing, there you can see.
Right. Yes.
If not, I can announce the first speaker is the
Thank you.
Anusri.
Yes.
Second, Toastmasters Abnis. Third, Deepa Erwankar. And then again, repeat the table topic speaker, Toastmasters Abnis guest.
Yes. You can put it in this thing only. Now that he has announced the sequence, everybody please choose that. Yes. Best evaluator of the day also has been given. Has everybody voted? I find only 86% votes. So please, I request everybody to vote. Best speech evaluator of the day. Yes, I think it's almost done. Like all done. Only 53% has participated. One more minute, please. You can choose there. Shall I end the poll? Has everybody done? Yes, it is 66% participated. I request more people to participate. Of course, people who I will not be participating because I am launching the poll. Others can do it. %73%. I'm giving a little more time. One more minute.
I think Toastmaster Avnish has some suggestions. Who is that? Yeah. You can put it in the chat box.
In the chat box, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or after the meeting gets over, we can sit and talk.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes. Is it done? Okay. I'll end the poll now. Probably people. Yes. Results. The best speaker of the day, as you can see, is Kusuma Rao. Please clap for her. And the best table topic speaker, 3 people have got equally. Anushri, then Avnish, and who was the third speaker?
Deepa.
All 3 of them have got best. Excellent. And yes, best speech evaluator goes to Krishnesh Naik. Again, thank you. And Toastmaster of the day takes the cake here. Absolutely wonderful. And for grammarian,
82%.
yes. And grammarian and then also timer, both have scored here. Yes. Thank you so much.
You can break the tie.
No, that's okay. We can, it's after all, very happy to. So I will send the certificates to the winners. The certificates are ready. I will send the certificates to everybody. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. And over to the president to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, everybody. So the meeting stands adjourned. Have a good day all.
Thank you so much.